weird lighting and the weird angle, but as you guys can tell, you can see all my bookshelves. And basically today I woke up and I'm like, you know what today's today? I have two bookshelves, as you can see. I'm gonna do the bigger one first, and then the smaller one over here. Without further ado, this is my bookshelf tour. Alright, so we're gonna start on my very first bookshelf here. So these first books that I have up top here are End of Days and Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard. Everything is just falling. Cinder, Scarlet, and Cress, all by Marissa Meyer. The covers are so gorgeous. Look at that. I just want to leave it there. Can we just leave it there for a second? Admiring, admiring. I have Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, Heir of Fire, Queen of Shadows, and The Assassin's Blade, all in Sarah J. Maas's Throne of Glass series. I'm not going to pull them all out because that would take a million years, but here is the first book. Beautiful. Next, I have the best series in the entire world. This is the Shatter Me series by Tahira Mafi. I have Shatter Me, Unravel Me, Ignite Me, and then Unite Me, the novella right over here. But this is what the books look like. They're so gorgeous. Kane's Blood and Project Kane, both by Jeffrey Gerard. I have not read these ones yet, but I am really looking forward to it, and they're just beautiful, so that's kind of why I put them on the top shelf. Okay, next, moving down to the end here, I have the Harry Potter series, all beautiful. I'm not going to pull it out, just because I'm pretty sure you know what all the books look like. They're so gorgeous. So, yes, I have the entire Harry Potter series right here. And then I have Divergent, Insurgent, and Allegiant. I'm not going to pull out these bottom ones because everything will collapse if I do that. So this is the second shelf here. I'm going to start by pulling out the books up that are stacked horizontally on the top. Sweet Madness by Trisha Lever and Lindsay Curry. The Darkest Minds by Alexandra Bracken. I just finished reading this, and I'm actually on Never Fade. You'll see that it's on my desk in a second. And then I have the third book in the series, which I have not read yet, but is In the Afterlight. The last book, and it's so sad, but beautiful, beautiful cover. The Fifth Wave, which I have not read yet. And then over here I have the first 4 books in the Mortal Instruments series. Here's City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I still need to get the last 2 books. Admire the shirtless person here. I have Through the Zombie Glass and Queen of Zombie Hearts by Jenna Showalter. I do own the first book also. This is a series, but I do not have it because I'm currently lending it out. Anna and the French Kiss and Lola and the Boy Next Door, both by Stephanie Perkins, and both books that I have not read yet. Daughter of Smoke and Bone and Days of Blood and Starlight by Laini Taylor. The absolutely beloved Hunger Games and Catching Fire by Suzanne Collins. The Match trilogy here in the middle, Match, Cross, and Reach, all by Ali Condi. I have the first 5 books in the Immortals series. I have Evermore, Blue Moon, what is this? Shadowland, Dark Flame, and Night Star. I have not read any of the books in this series. I just got these books from my best friend, and I'm so looking forward to reading them. The covers are absolutely gorgeous. And the last 2 books I have on this bookshelf is The Nightmare Affair and The Nightmare Dilemma. I absolutely love The Nightmare Affair, but I haven't read the second book yet or the third book. I plan on having all 3 in the trilogy at some point, but yeah, these are both by Mindy Arnett. Alright, we are on the third shelf here. Starting with these first 3 books, I have the entire Lux series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I've only read the first 2 books, so please no spoilers. Cruel trilogy, Cruel, Altered, and Unraveled by Jennifer Albin. I have not read this one yet. A duology here. It is Shipbreaker and the Drowned Cities. This duology is so good. Praise, praise. I have the either loved or hated Shiver series by Maggie Stiefvater. I have Shiver, Linger, and Forever. Linger is just laying there. Why? New Moon, Eclipse, Eclipse again without the cover, and then Breaking Dawn. I have not read the Twilight Saga, but I own the books because I got these ones for like $1 each, and then these ones from family members. Defy and Ignite by Sarah B. Larson. Beautiful, probably like one of my favorite covers of all times. It's so gorgeous. The Gifted and the Gifted Uprising by Elizabeth C. Buard. She's actually a self-published author. Gorgeous covers. This last section of my bookshelf is dedicated to John Green. This is like the John Green section. But then I have Paper Towns, Looking for Alaska, An Abundance of Catherines, and The Fault in Our Stars, all by our very own John Green. Alright, we are now on the 4th shelf of my bookshelf. Oh my gosh, how awesome. Okay, so majority of these books, I'm just going to tell you right away, I have not read. This is probably like one of my biggest TBR shelves. I will let you know I'll let you know which ones I haven't read yet, but please, just to keep from spoiling me, do not discuss these books in the comments. Here's The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown, and then I have The Rhythmatist by Brandon Sanderson Sanderson. I got this book brand new hardcover for $3 at a thrift shop. Can you believe it? Someone just left it there to be sold for $3. The Cuckoo's Calling by Robert Galbraith, aka J.K. Rowling. That's just like her pen name. Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I'm so looking forward to reading this one. And I have Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. An Ember in the Ashes by Sabah Tahir. Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. Trial by Fire by Josephine Angeline. The Ward by Jordana Frankel. Black Ice by Becca Fitzpatrick. Tandem by Anna Jarzab, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Night School by C.J. Daughtery. Love and Other Perishable Items by Laura Buzo. The Van Halen Legacy, which is super white, so sorry if you can't see it. And it is a Blue Bloods novel by Melissa De La Cruz. So I have not read all of these. Moving on to this last little section of the fourth bookshelf, I have Love and Other Unknown Variables. I have a bookmark, and this is actually a signed copy. I got to meet the author. She's so amazing. She's in several of my videos. If you want to go check that out. And then down here I have my 2 stolen library books. I'm so sorry if there's any librarians watching. But I have Reboot by Amy Tintera and then Legend by Marie Lu. Yeah, I no longer live in the state that I borrowed these from, so I cannot return them because like those stickers right there are just like proof that these don't belong to me. Mad and Wicked Folly by Sharon Bigswaller. I have The Program, which no way you can see because it just blends in with all the white, but this one is by Suzanne Young. Alright, okay, now we're going to be going to the very bottom of my shelf, so let's see if I can get this camera to go that low. I might have to hold it myself. This is so low, oh my gosh. Okay, so all of these books down here that you see, I'm going to try and quickly go over them. It's kind of miscellaneous ones. So I have The Time Traveler's Guide to Medieval England, The Time Traveler's Guide to Elizabeth England, Disarm by June Gray, The Last Summer of Us by Maggie Harcourt, The Gemstone by Serena and Sasha Nanui, they're sisters, and it's so cool. The Great Gatsby, and then I have The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls, Woven by Michael Jensen and David Powers King. Then I have The Amanda Project. I got this book at a Scholastic's book sale for $3. I've never read it, and I don't even know what it's about, but it's just been on my shelf forever. Alright, then I have Water for the Elephants. Water for the Elephants. No, I have Water for the Elephants by Sarah Gruen. I have As Dead as It Gets by Katie Allender. And I did not read the first book, or I do not own the first book, so that's why I could never finish this. Chain Letter by Christopher Pike. The Sin Eater's Daughter. This is actually an arc, and it is by Melinda Salzberg. The Crucible. Ooh, I don't know if you can see that. The Crucible by Arthur Miller. The Night Theroux Spent in Jail, and then also The Inner Game of Tennis. This one is my sister. She's a tennis player. And then I have Myths and Legends by Philip Wilkinson, and I actually really love this book. It just has myths and legends from a bunch of different cultures, and it's awesome. I love this one. I really recommend it if you're a fan of like mythology, right? Then I have The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, the first book in the Narnia series, and then I also have a little bookmark. This is probably one of my favorites. It's The Hunger Pains. It's like a parody of The Hunger Games, and it's in kind of comic book form, and it's hilarious. If anyone's looking for a laugh, I got this one on bookoutlet.com. There will be a link in the description to where you can find it. And then I have Junior Greats books. This is actually my 8th grade short story book, so it just has a bunch of different short stories that I actually really enjoyed. And then I have a couple of children's books over here. I have The Odyssey, the children's book version. Over here at the bottom of this bookshelf, I just keep all of like my electronics. I just have my desk. If you come a little closer, I have a couple books. I have Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I have some notebooks. I have my Robert Frost's collective poems book, and then I just have a few journals. I keep a journal here, and then I also have like, I call this like my library catalog. I keep all of like the books that I have on my bookshelf cataloged in here. I have Never Fade, which is the second book in the Darkest Minds, and I'm currently reading it, and it is awesome. Alright, and then there is my legs. Hey ho! I just realized it's sort of becoming a desk tour. I have like this giant calendar up here that I never use. Then I have something that says Josiah Reads and Smiles, and then Take the Risk and Let It Be. And then over here, before we get to the second bookshelf, I'm homeschooled, so I have my laptop and then all of my notebooks for school. And then, oh look, there's me. Hey, hey, a teapot over here. And then if you go kind of move around over here. I just have a bunch of miscellaneous stuff. I just have my acrylic paints and my color pencils and my failed knitting stuff, some tea, flowers, a fan, candle holders, and yeah, now let's get on to this second shelf over here. Alright, so most of the books on this shelf have just been kind of Tetrised on here, but let's just begin. First I have The Brilliant Light of Amber Sunrise, and then I have The Walls Around Us by Nova Ren Suma, The Shadows Cast by Stars, a novel by Catherine Knudsen. Then I have Echoes by Laura Tisdale. I just have to take this and put this on the ground for a second. All the Bright Places by Jennifer Neven, Geek Girl by Holly Smell, and then I have The Start of Me and You by Emery Lord. Then I have Plus One by Elizabeth Fama. Most of these books on this bookshelf here I have not read, but it's just so mixed up, this bookshelf, that it's just books that I have read and haven't read. I don't have them separated or anything. Starters by Lisa Price. I've been wanting to read this one forever, but I just haven't really been in the mood for it in a while. Then I have Autumn Falls by Bella Thorne, a signed copy. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. Then I have Nicholas Sparks' The Longest Ride. Tempest by Julie Cross. I have The House of Hades and The Blood of Olympus, the last two books in Rick Riordan's The Heroes of Olympus series. Adam and Eve by Michael Grant. And I have Why We Broke Up by Danielle Handler. Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Beautiful Disaster by Jamie McGuire. Then I have The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer by Michael Hodkin, and then Volition by Lily Paradise. Not a Drop to Drink by Mindy McGinnis. Mind Games by Kristen White. Creed by Trisha Lever and Lindsay Curry, and then Contaminated by M. Garner. Oh dear lord, okay, so this is the bookshelf that I was dreading to go through, and I really don't want to go through all of them, but I'll pull out as many as I can. All of these ones horizontal here I will not take out just because it will be nearly impossible and this whole thing will just like collapse. I kind of just Tetrised it all in here. Here I have My Life Next Door by Becca Fitzpatrick, Stephen the Ripper by Stephen Patricia, and then I have Me, Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews, and then The Giver by Louise Laurie. See that. And then over here I have I Hunt Killers by Barry Liga, Love Story by Jennifer Eccles, and The Host by Stephanie Meyer. What I have horizontally stacked up here is just some books that I don't really care much to read. J.K. Rowling's A Casual Vacancy, Grimm's Complete Fairy Tale Collection, the collector's edition from Barnes & Noble, Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. Then I have two books in one. I have Marked and Betrayed, and the first two books in the House of Night series. Moving over to all of these top books stacked up here, let's just attempt to go through them. It's going to be really hard to pull them out because they're so tightly packed, but you know what? We're going to do it because we believe in ourselves. The first book that I have up here is The Endgames by T. Michael Martin. The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. The Forest of Hands and Teeth by Carrie Ryan. The Essence by Kimberly Durting, the second book in the Pledge series. Then I have Pulse by Patrick Carman. Dune by Carrie Corp and Lori Langdon. Breathe by Sarah Crossman. Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. Between the Lines by Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Leer. Come on. Then I have Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. A Hyperbole and a Half by Allie Brosh. This book is like 10 times heavier than it looks. Then I have Easy by Tamara Weber. And then I have Indelible by, who is this by? Dan Metcalf. Beautiful cover. I have Wait for You by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and it is a signed first edition copy. I have Every Day by David Levithan. I have One of the Guys by Lisa Alden. Love this book. And then lastly on this shelf I have A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. I have not read this one, but I think this is like one of the first books I ever got when I started actually buying books, and I haven't read it. The very last shelf of my bookshelf tour. So basically most of these are my sister's books. They're just all like health and fitness books. Oh my god, and they're all falling. Why is there a tangent? That officially concludes my very first bookshelf tour. Thank you if you stuck around to the end and you're actually watching this. But yes, those are all the books that I have. I do have quite a few books lined out at the moment. I have Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, Angel Fall and World After by Susan E., The Winter's Curse, Made You Up by Francesca Zappia. I have quite a few books that I do not have with me but normally would be somewhere on my shelf. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, keep reading and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye!